That unfortunately does crop up. It's not common, but it does unfortunately pop up, especially for visitations that occur not straight after work. Again, there's a gap, say, between Dad gets work off on Friday and he picks the kids up, or the midweek visitation, Tuesday or parenting time, Tuesday or Wednesday, Dad gets off and there's a space and then he picks the children up. It's not uncommon for, have a glass of wine with dinner, have a beer after work, whatever it is. Certainly not enough to cause any impairment, any problem, any danger to the kids, but Mom smells it on his breath, and if Mom is not in a mood to cooperate with Dad, Dad gets reported. It's a pretty simple equation, actually. If Mom is in a good mood and things are going well, then, she just kind of literally notes it and stores it for later. But if things are not going well, Dad shows up and there's, the smell of alcohol on his breath for whatever reason, there's a whole host of consequences that can happen, and none of them are good for Dad. They can be everything from wait here while I call the police to see and have them tested to make sure you're sober to drive. Kids see police called, again, not a good time for the children. The police show up. They say, we see alcohol on your breath. We don't think you should have the kids. Dad doesn't get his time. Mom may unilaterally decide, especially, something we talked about if the exchange is at Mom's house, Mom may just say, I smell alcohol on your breath. The kids aren't getting in your car. And again, there's really no reason, in the grand scheme of things, there's no reason to have, any kind of drink before the time with the children. And like I said, and especially during the periods where Mom and Dad aren't getting along, it just gives Mom one more point to deny Dad time with the kids, and nothing good can come of that.
Or you're also setting yourself up for a potential modification down the road to lose actual visitation or custody time as well. Exactly. What about a situation where the dad has a new girlfriend and she wants to meet the children? What is your advice on if she's insisting on showing up at the exchanges?
If Mom has not met if new girlfriend has not met the children before, then the parenting time exchange is not the moment to do it, mainly because you're going to have Mom standing there, and Mom probably has never met the girlfriend. And again, it's not, the parenting time exchange is not Sunday morning at church. It's not a happy occasion, really, for most people. And introducing new parties, whether it's new girlfriend, new boyfriend, that's not really the appropriate time. If new girlfriend does want to meet the kids, the best time to do that is during the extended, the whole weekend, when they can spend time with the kids can get used to her, she can get used to the kids. But, at the parenting time exchange is not really the best time. Again, just because now all of a sudden Mom looks over and she says, I don't know this person, I'm not sure I want my kids around her, who is she? The kids might be a little bit defensive of, we thought we'd be spending time with Dad, and now there's this new person here. That introduction is better when Dad and the children are alone.
Now, what about when you show up in an exchange and you notice marks or bruises or scratches on the children? What would be the best way to handle that situation?
Take the kids and then defer anything until later. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, if you do notice something on the children, if the kids have marks on them, or if the kids are dressed, inappropriately in dirty clothes or whatever, again, the parenting time exchange is not the time to do something or bring that up, because pretty much nothing will be resolved at that moment of exchange. If Mom is willing to turn the kids over to Dad with bruises or marks on them, she's being pretty bold, I think. The best thing to do is, take the children, have whatever discussion you need to do about the actual parenting time, and then when Dad has the children, either in his car on the way or, at home actually, ask them and discuss with them what happened, okay? Dads are allowed, there's always this concept of, can Dad grill the children? Dad is allowed to say, hey, where did that bruise come from? Okay, and see what the children say. And if the children's answer really doesn't match the bruise, then, Dad can call Child Protective Services or someone to look at it, again, during his time. And actually there's a little more, it's actually a little better to do that, because if somebody comes out and investigates it, then the person doing the investigating is only talking to dad. That person is not trying to talk to dad with, mom over there kind of, wait, you got to hear my side of the story, okay? So, again, and unless it's an obvious emergency situation, the best thing to do would be to just take the children and then during the course of the weekend find out where those bruises came from. Again, the bruises could be, kids fall down, kids get bumped, kids play sports, but raising an accusation or even an accusation or an inquiry like that at the moment of exchange could lead to, again, what you said, degrading the quality of time or even denying the parenting time and without resolving the nature of the question.
And one last thing as we're running out of time, what about videotaping the exchanges?
That's
would you advise to do that, or would you advise against it, or would it really be depending upon the circumstance?
I actually hesitate there because I think it depends on the circumstances. Videotaping exchanges where nothing has gone wrong historically, all of a sudden will make people paranoid. I mean, just having yourself videotaped is an unusual situation. If there have been problems, dad says that mom's new boyfriend is always interfering, and mom says, no, it's dad that's causing the confrontations, then having someone, actually, number one, having, just someone be with you at the exchange, not participating in the exchange, maybe sitting in the car and witnessing the exchange to see what transpires is a good idea, and then videotaping it is an extra measure of assurance. But unfortunately, I wouldn't recommend just videotaping random exchanges. I think that there would have to be some accusation or some grounds to say, well, yeah, we videotaped this one because mom said the last one went bad.
Right. Well, Erik, I appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today. We've posted your article on our website, DadsDivorce.com. We also have Ask a Lawyer questions, so if anybody would like some follow-up, you can click on that icon, Ask a Lawyer, and we will try to address it at one of our upcoming shows. Once again, Erik Carter out of our Indianapolis office. You can access this interview as well as other information materials on DadsDivorce.com. Thank you, Erik.
Thanks, Dan.